Society of the Flourishing Self. It's an unusual name for a health retreat.
Trust me, you're going to love it.
I'm certainly curious. I have to say, though, a place like this, Effie, it seems like an unusual fit for you.
I'd have said the same a month ago. It's hard to describe, but ever since I started coming here, I just feel upbeat.
Well, it could be partially due to being out of the city.
I believe some of it's due to the country air, but it's mostly this teacher and the practices he's invented.
I wouldn't trust it if you asked me.
Oh, why do you say that?
Well, they ain't very considerate neighbors for a start.
Oh, you live around here?
Next property over. Them folks ain't nothing but a bunch of misfits.
The society is a bit unorthodox, but the practices speak for themselves. Come, Julia.
I fear we may be overdressed.
Yes, the attire does require some getting used to.
Detective Watts?
I didn't realize you were a member of the society.
Well,
I've never seen you here before.
I'm not a member, though I have visited a number of times. I'm intrigued by the teacher's idea of a unified self.
What exactly is that?
Self with no secrets.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Satya. I'm Sarah Gallo's assistant. A welcome session with the teacher will begin shortly in the hall, but in the meantime, non-residents should change into their whites and choose seeker names.
Non-residents? People live here?
Those who require a more intensive experience can stay as long as they like.
Like a sanatorium?
No, like a retreat.
What exactly is a seeker name?
A word you choose that embodies what you're looking to gain here. It's how the teacher and everyone else will refer to you.
How fascinating. I never thought I'd miss the structure of a corset.
It does take some getting used to, but you'll be grateful for the freedom of movement once classes begin.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
He's here.
Oh, my.
Yes, he cuts quite a figure, doesn't he?
What on earth is he wearing?
Sarah Gallo says it's a traditional garment from India.
It is hot there. I suppose it's designed to keep them cool?
My dear Joy, welcome back. The harmony, wonderful to see you.
The pleasure is mine.
And you are?
Oh, Dr. Julia Ogden?
Oh, I mean your seeker name.
Oh,
Come, Julia. You get to choose a name.
Oh, well, I'm here.
Seeking presence in the present. A lofty aspiration. Welcome. Here. And welcome, seekers. I am Sarah Gallo. I founded this society after traveling the world for many years in search of a means of unifying my heart and mind, which were often at odds. The teachings I offer are practices I created, which gave me the unification I was seeking. Movement to strengthen the body, guided contemplation to center the mind. Breath work to unleash the spirit, and unbosoming to know the heart. Learn these practices, and I promise you too can be unified.
Dear God.
Cynthia, get help!
She's not breathing. Dear God. She's dead.
I'm so sorry that such an upsetting occurrence has marred your first visit to the society.
Had she been ill at all?
Not that I know of.
And what was her legal name?
So many questions. What are you, a detective?
Yes. Outside this community, I'm a member of the Toronto Constabulary.
Oh, I see. Do you suspect foul play?
I'm just gathering information to help local authorities.
Her name was Allison Becken.
When was the last time either of you spoke to her?
This morning. She was planning on foregoing the welcome ceremony to practice her breath work.
And what exactly is breath work?
It's a form of deep and rapid breathing. It's beneficial for self-awareness, emotional release, and clarity.
Speaking of, we need to plan for the rest of the day, considering what happened. You'll call the police?
I will. Though I doubt anyone will make it out today.
Then I suppose it's up to us to determine what happened to Miss Beckon.
I'm curious about this breath work. It sounds akin to controlled hyperventilation.
I've tried it once or twice. That's a fair definition of it.
Well, it sounds like it could be dangerous.
No, not at all. Saragala would never teach something that would cause harm.
Well, perhaps not knowingly, but bodies can react in surprising ways to extreme experiences. I'd like to do a more thorough examination. In
the meantime, I'll ask around, try to get a sense of Allison's movements this morning.
I think we should inquire into her state of mind as well. There must have been a reason why she chose to do this breath work instead of attending the welcome session. How long did you know Allison? Oneness.
6 weeks. We've shared a cabin since I arrived.
Did you get on well?
We were very close. Society is like a family.
And how did she seem this morning?
She'd returned to the cabin after I'd gone to sleep last night and was up and out when I woke up.
Is that unusual?
She'd been having extra sessions with Saragala.
What kind of sessions?
I wouldn't know.
How long had she been here?
7 or 8 months, I think.
That's a long time to be removed from the world.
It may seem so. But it can be necessary for a sensitive soul like Oneness. That's why I created the society. To give people solace.
Society has changed my life, Saragala. Truly.
But what is the goal? Do your teachings strengthen these sensitive souls so as to return to the real world?
You don't think this is the real world?
Well,
that tells me that you're not yet present in the present here.
Just the man I wanted to see.
Morning, sir. I just came by to get this.
Is that right?
Yes. Julia is at a health retreat in Huntsville, so I thought I would take the opportunity to give my bicycle a tune-up.
That'll be quick work. You'll have more than enough time for this.
Nathaniel Ryther, 3 Gracevale Street. What's this about?
Ryther is a friend of mine from the Masons. His wife's disappeared. You're to find her and bring her home discreetly. Is there a problem, Murdoch?
Not at all, sir.
Good, because Ryther's expecting you in half an hour. Good luck.
Are you all right?
As long as we live, we are blessed. I must admit, I am feeling the loss of Oneness very acutely.
Perhaps you should try some stretching. As you said, intentional movement is a good way to process
emotions. Yes. How wonderful to have your teachings reflect back from your students.
That's a beautiful ring. Is it significant in some way?
It is a reminder of why I do this work. Freedom will miss sharing a cabin with Oneness. Perhaps you could stay with her. She could use your energy.
Gotten right to it.
I didn't intend on doing an internal examination, but once I found this.
What's this?
It's a mix of blood and saliva. I found it in the victim's mouth and throat, which got me curious. It suggests she died of asphyxiation.
She choked on something?
That's the interesting thing. I found no signs of a foreign body in her windpipe. I believe the asphyxia was due to poisoning.
Poisoning? By what?
The spasms before she died suggest some kind of paralytic, perhaps Water hemlock or strychnine?
Neither of which is something someone would ingest willingly.
Exactly. Meaning, this was a murder.
Eleanor took a trip to Niagara Falls a month and a half ago, but never returned.
May I ask, Mr. Ryder, why you've waited until now to look for her?
I presumed she'd come home eventually.
But something's changed your mind?
A wire transfer withdrawing funds from our household account earlier this week.
And you took that as a sign that your wife wasn't planning on coming home?
I took it as a sign Eleanor's being held under duress. She knows better than to make a transaction like that without my permission.
Very well. I'll do my best to get to the bottom of this.
Yes, see that you do. Here's a photograph of Eleanor for your reference.
Thank you. I'll begin by having a detailed look at this room.
Do as you please.
Someone poisoned her?
Keep your voice down.
We're alone in the woods, Julia.
Well, be that as it may, we don't know anyone here well enough to know who we can trust.
I spoke to 2 people who said our victim had an argument with Sarah Gallo last night.
You're not suggesting he killed her, are you?
I'm not suggesting anything.
Well, this Sarah Gallo does have an intense sway over people.
That's not evidence of wrongdoing.
True, but it's not very healthy, especially for those susceptible to undue influence.
People believe in his teachings. That doesn't mean he's bewitched them.
Well, I didn't say that it does, but if he fought with Allison, then...
And what was this supposed fight about?
We don't know, as of yet.
Then I suggest we not get ahead of ourselves.
Forgive me, Effie, but I'm not sure you're entirely objective when it comes to the matter of Sarah Gallo.
Excuse me?
I've seen the way you look at him.
What is it you're suggesting, Julia?
Movement class begins in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Stillness. I think I'll go and freshen up first.
Surely you see it too. She's enamored with him.
She was rather passionate in her defense, but it's George she's truly enamored with.
Well, George is away, and we all have moments of weakness. This will be a nice step up from the tent we were meant to share.
Well, I sincerely hope you don't think Sarah Gallo's undue influence had anything to do with me agreeing to room with Freedom.
I didn't mean to suggest that you would really let your fondness for him blind you.
I should hope not.
I just wonder whether you've come to the society seeking to fill the hole left by George's absence.
This has nothing to do with George, Julia. This must be Freedom's. Julia.
What is it? Strychnine.
You don't think...
What are you doing in my things? Those are mine.
Strychnine is quite poisonous.
Not according to my doctor. He gave these to me as a tonic for my nerves. Not that I need them now, thanks to Sarah Gallo.
Did Oneness ever have any of those tablets, Freedom?
Of course not. A nerve tonic was the last thing she needed.
She wasn't an anxious person?
The farthest thing from it. Why are you asking these questions?
Oneness was poisoned. Possibly with strychnine.
You think I did it?
Well, I'll have to test these tablets to be sure.
Do you really think she could have poisoned Allison?
Luckily, there's a simple way to find out. Strychnine is insoluble in water. The more this tablet dissolves, the less strychnine is present.
It's disappeared completely.
Freedom's tonic doesn't contain enough strychnine to harm anyone.
I believe an apology is in order.
I assume you are familiar with this room, Miss...
Franklin, sir. And I am. I've been with the Rythers for 2 years.
Does anything appear to be missing or out of place, as far as you can tell?
No, sir. It's just as it was when Mrs. Reither left on her trip.
And you've kept up your cleaning duties of this room while the lady of the house has been gone?
I dusted just the other day.
Oh. Well, if that is the case, Miss Franklin, then perhaps you can explain to me the significance of this. Something has clearly been removed from this mantle since you last dusted just the other day.
Oh. How strange.
Perhaps we should ask Mr. Reither about it.
Good. Good. And arms wide as if to capture the sun. And release. Bringing your hands together in clasp in the center. And breathe. May peace be in your mind and in your hearts.
For those of you here for the first time, recordings of Sarah Gallo's guided contemplations are available for purchase in the office.
How entrepreneurial.
Shh. Our apologies, calm. He's still working on coming into alignment with his seeker name.
Clearly.
I noticed you two were late to class. Did you find something?
Yes, some tablets in Frieden's room that contain strychnine, but not enough to kill anybody.
So, not her.
No. I'd still like to search the area where Allison does her breath work. Perhaps there's something there.
I want to speak with Sarah Gallo, find out what he and Allison argued about last night.
I really don't think that... You know what? Never mind. You'll realize eventually he has nothing to do with this.
Sarah Gallo?
Joy. Here.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, not at all. Please, sit.
I understand this is where Oneness did her breath work this morning.
Yes, I was hoping to feel some of her energy.
I also understand that you two argued last night.
We had a constructive conversation rooted in passion.
And what was this constructive conversation about?
Oneness had plateaued. That's why we were having private sessions. She struggled with not progressing more quickly.
I bet you had some wise words for her.
No, actually. When in a moment like Oneness was in, all a teacher can do is listen and be supportive. Pushing only causes more pain.
Speaking of teaching, are you about to start another breathwork session soon?
Not for a few hours.
Oh.
Well, in that case, would you guide me through a breathwork session?
Of course.
It isn't what you think, Detective. I didn't steal or anything.
But you do know what's happened to the missing item from the mantle. Miss Franklin, my duty is to locate Mrs. Ryther. I've no wish to bring you any trouble.
Swear you won't tell Mr. Ryther.
That depends what you tell me.
It's a vase. What's missing? A very valuable one. Mrs. Ryther asked me to bring it down to Crawford's pawn shop to be sold.
You've had contact with her?
A telephone call the other morning. I think she waited until she knew Mr. Ryther would be at work.
What happened to the money from the sale?
She asked me to leave it with the clerk. Said she would pick the money up herself. I know how it sounds, Detective, but it's the truth. I swear.
Did you find anything?
Possibly. There's a ledger in the office. Students are donating large sums to the society.
Even Allison?
She gave $500.
That's a lot of money.
Especially to learn teachings that are, when you look closely, nothing but a mishmash of traditions from other cultures.
Well, yes, I suspect Sarah Gallo invented unbosoming after reading Dr. Freud. But if you know this, why do you still come?
Sarah Gallo's idea of the unified self is intriguing, regardless of where his teachings originated.
Are you still trying to reconcile your private proclivities with your work?
Yes.
You think Sarah Gallo can help you with that?
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, maybe not everyone feels the same way.
What are you suggesting?
Well, what if Allison discovered that she'd paid to learn something that she could find for free in the library? Sarah Gallo might do a lot to keep that quiet.
Did you find anything of note where Allison was practicing breathwork?
I did.
Incense.
What if Allison didn't ingest strychnine, but inhaled it?
From the incense, you mean? Wouldn't she have realized?
Not necessarily. Strychnine burns colorless and odorless.
We need to find out where that incense came from, and I have an idea where to start.
And relax. Wonderful work. How do you feel?
I feel like there's a storm in my heart. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'll give you time to process. This might help. Light this. Practice your contemplation. And we can speak later.
Sarah Gallo gave Allison the incense that killed her. There may be remnants of strychnine in here.
Llewellyn? I believe this is strychnine.
We may have found our killer.
And he's with Effie right now.
What's going on?
Take deep breaths. We'll explain later.
Where's Sarah Gallo?
I don't know. He left 5 minutes ago.
Just breathe.
Why would someone attack you?
I don't know.
Vengeance is an obvious motive.
What? No, I can't be held responsible for what happened. Juanis's death was clearly an accident.
No, it was incense laced with strychnine. Presume this is yours?
Yes, but I share that with others who need extra support.
Such as oneness?
Yes, and joy earlier.
Why do you think that I need extra support?
Your heart and mind are at war, Joy. You love, and yet you despair, and you want to escape those feelings by any means necessary. But I did not know that incense was laced with anything.
Please, try to sit back.
If that's true, the killer could have been targeting you all along.
I heard what happened. We must send everyone away to protect Saragallo.
I don't think that's advisable. If someone's targeting him, everyone here is a suspect. We need to keep them in our sights.
My mala, where is it?
It was broken in the attack.
Judging by the marks on your neck, the attacker may have tried to strangle you with it.
I must have the ring that was strung upon it back.
I'll try to find it for you.
And how do you plan to ferret out the scoundrel trying to kill Saragallo?
For starters, I'd like to know if anyone might have had motive.
Yes. Our neighbor, Percy Delwyn. He hates us.
Then I'll speak to him first.
Wait, I may have more luck. He drove us in from the train station. Here, apply pressure until the bleeding stops.
Very well. I'll check alibis of the other fellowship members.
Wait. Satya can do that with Joy. Please, stay here. I need you to keep me safe.
Mr. Crawford.
Detective Murdoch, can I help you?
I have a few questions. I believe a woman came in a few days ago looking to collect some money for a vase. Perhaps you recognize her from this photograph.
I'm afraid I can't help you. One of the chief reasons for my success is the discretion I show my customers.
I happen to be familiar with the owner of said vase, and I suspect that he would not appreciate knowing that you purchased it without proper documentation of ownership.
Vase? What vase? I don't know anything about a vase.
Mr. Crawford, I just need to know if you recognize the woman from the photograph.
She was in a few days ago.
How did she seem?
Fine.
Not under any duress?
None that I saw. She was in a real hurry, though.
Did she say why?
Something about a train. She had to get back to a social something or other in Huntsville.
Might she have used the word society?
Yes. That was the exact word. You should be a detective.
That's a list of everyone here. Should make checking the alibis easier.
Thank you.
Have you found the teacher's ring?
No sign of it.
That's a shame. Well, everyone should have been doing their chores when Saragallo was being attacked.
Sorry to bother you.
Not at all.
Thank you, Freedom. You go by Calm, is that correct?
Yes.
And your legal names are... Nora and David. Is that right?
That is. What of it?
Were you working here together all afternoon?
We have been.
What's with all the questions?
If you must know, we're looking into...
Joy was just helping me to confirm everyone's set up with chores.
There was no need to lie.
And even less need to worry those who are innocent with the truth.
What on earth?
Apologies. I didn't recognize you in that getup.
That is no excuse.
Sure it is. I don't let any of that society lot trespass on my property. It's not my fault you got indoctrinated so fast.
I did no such thing. In actual fact, I'm quite suspicious of the whole thing. Especially that Saragallo.
See the one that runs around in his underthings?
Actually, it's a traditional undergarment. That's beside the point. You said that you don't trust the group. What do you think's going on over there?
Hold on to things is nice enough, I guess. It's that lady I don't trust.
Setia? What has she done?
She's buying up all the land, blocking my access to my best fishing spots. She's a bully, and she's a criminal.
Criminal? Why would you say that?
I got proof. I'll show you.
To know someone thinks me a fraud, it's devastating.
But perhaps not entirely wrong?
What do you mean?
You're charging students handsomely to teach them little more than adaptations of ancient practices.
I know nothing about the money. Setia handles all that.
And your teachings?
If you are familiar with them, why are you here?
That's not relevant at the moment.
Oh, please. Humor me.
Very well. I've been searching for a means of unifying the public and private parts of myself. Thought you may have something to offer.
A unified self does not necessarily present itself in its fullness at all times.
I'm not sure I follow.
You can be unified within without sharing that fullness with others. For example, I am Sarah Gallo, the teacher. But outside the society, I am simply Stephen Lucas.
So you admit you're a fraud?
No. I believe in my teachings. And I am Sarah Gallo, but it's not my whole self. It's a persona I adopt to encourage my followers to believe in my teachings.
Does that make it any less a lie?
If it is a lie, then it is a useful lie for those I serve. Harmony. The only thing that matters is that you know and are comfortable with your true self. That's what frees us and truly unifies the heart and mind.
Lovely garden you've got here.
Yes, it is. I can't take credit for it. I'm just in charge of pulling the weeds.
So have you been working out here alone all afternoon?
Yes. My own personal bit of heaven. Setia and Sarah Gallo saw what I needed when I came a few months back. It's been a balm.
Your name's Joseph, correct? And you go by the secret name Peace?
Yes. I came seeking it after the loss of someone close to me.
Have you found it?
I'm working on it. You go by Joy?
Yes.
Have you found the joy you're looking for here?
No. I think I'm beginning to understand why that is.
Where did you get this?
Percy Delman, the man who lives in the next property over. Apparently, Setia is a confidence woman by the name of Alice Shen.
Says here she was jailed for several months after attacking someone who found her out.
Do you think this could be related to the attempts on Sarah Gallo's life?
Perhaps he uncovered her past misdeeds and wanted her out?
She does handle all the financial dealings for the society, and judging by the sums in the ledger, she had a lot to lose.
Does she have an alibi for the time of his attack?
I didn't even think to ask.
I think it's time we did.
Setia, stop! He attacked me.
She's blackmailing me.
Blackmailing? How?
I'm leaving the society. She won't give me back the money that I paid.
No, those were donations.
Donations for living expenses that I no longer require.
What does this have to do with blackmail?
She has recordings of my unbosoming sessions. And she said if I went to the police about the money, she's gonna give that to my family.
Is that true?
Does Sarah Gallo know? No, he would never. Please don't tell him. I beg you.
You're exploiting someone's innermost secrets. You deserve no favors.
Well, it turns out that you were right about Sarah Gallo, and I owe you an apology.
You were right, too, about me using this place as a way to fill the hole left by George.
I shouldn't feel badly about that. It's a completely understandable reaction to missing someone.
I'm just so worried about him. And angry. He left without so much as asking me.
He'll be back before long. Safe and sound, I'm sure of it.
Julia?
William?
Thank you, Julia.
What on earth are you wearing?
Hello to you, too. The more pertinent question is, what are you doing here?
Oh, the inspector has me looking for his friend's wife that's gone missing.
You think she might be here?
I do. Do you recognize her?
Well, that's Freedom.
Freedom, you say?
What's the name that she goes by here?
Ah. And where might she be?
Shameful. Recording unbosoming sessions. And blackmail.
So you didn't know?
Of course not.
Were you aware of this?
Yes. Setia had told me that she had turned over a new leaf. Clearly, that's not the case. May I speak with her?
Yes. For all her many faults, it seems as though Setia isn't our killer.
How can you be sure?
She has no motive. Sarah Gallo knew about her past.
But the blackmail and the recordings.
Were both news to him. She may have attacked Calm to keep her secret, but she had no reason to kill Sarah Gallo.
Then who in heaven is trying to?
Something tells me those recordings may give us a clue.
Strange. It's already unlocked. Good Lord, there must be 24 recordings in here.
Blackmailing students. I can't believe you'd do such a thing.
I was trying to protect you and the society in case we were ever faced with questions.
You've been making them that long.
Ever since Well began to struggle, I was worried that something terrible would happen, and I was right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who is Well?
Joy Knight. Former student. He killed himself 6 months ago.
Those initials, JK, it was his ring on your mala?
And his ring that disappeared when you were attacked. The two things must be related.
Perhaps there's something of interest on one of Wells' recordings. But one of them's missing.
None were missing earlier. I checked before I spoke to Calm.
Which means someone's taken it in the last hour. Is anyone currently at the society connected to Joey?
I don't believe so.
None of the current students were here before he died.
It's Peace.
How do you know?
His legal name is Joseph.
He did arrive shortly after Joey died.
And he told me that he came here seeking peace after the loss of someone close to him.
I have an idea where to find him.
I try to let go of bad thoughts, but they just come back stronger. It's as though there's a monster inside of me telling me I'm worthless.
Joseph?
I never meant to hurt Oneness.
I know. The incense was intended for Sarah Gallo, but when that failed, you tried a more direct attack.
He pushed my son to take his own life. He deserves to be punished.
Maybe. But not by you.
I know I'm going to jail. But please, just give me one more minute to hear my Joy's voice. This was recorded just a few days before he...
You're not trying hard enough, Joey. If you wanted to be free of these thoughts, you would be. I don't know what to do.
I am
Please, help me, Sarah.
so terribly sorry, Peace.
I won't have peace until you pay for my son's death.
Hey!
Came all this way to find me?
At your husband's request.
Nathaniel does nothing for 6 weeks, but the minute I touch the household accounts...
Why didn't you tell your husband where you were?
If I told him, he would probably have had me committed.
So you wish to stay?
I do. I finally know what it is to be at peace. I'd like to keep it that way, if you'll keep my secret.
Seems you're losing some students.
Well, even if only one remains, that's reason enough to carry on the work of the society.
You plan to stay on?
Of course. I hope to see you both back sometime soon.
I think it's time that I return to being just Effie.
But you're still so conflicted. I can see it.
I am, but I think it's time that I learn to face the despair I'm feeling rather than chase some impossible joy.
That is so brave.
Thank you.
And Harmony? Will I see you again?
Oh, I don't think so. Though I am grateful for what you've taught me. I used to believe I was lying if I wasn't bringing my full self to my job and my public life.
And now?
Well, our conversation earlier made me realize some separation between my public and private selves may be a benefit to all parts of my life.
That is wonderful to hear.
Is that you, William?
It is indeed.
How did it go with the inspector?
Oh, I don't think he actually believes that I haven't found Eleanor yet. Oh, am I interrupting something?
Not at all. I'm just practicing stretches I learned at the society. It turns out I am a lot more flexible than I imagined.
Is that so?
Yes. I can show you if you like.